All right, guys, it's what everyone's been waiting for, the NIT Bracketology update, and we've also got the CBI Bracketology that we're going to get to. But first, guys, what's going on with the NIT? There's some teams that recently lost that are guaranteed to make the NIT, and kind of interesting, they have Providence as a #1 seed in the NIT. A lot of people think they can still make the tournament, and a lot of people have them really as kind of a 10 seed well within the tournament. But according to this expert, he's got them in the NIT taking Hofstra. I can never pronounce that. It's just, I don't like that school. It's just a weird pronunciation. But yes, that school is actually, they were supposed to win their conference, so I'm sure they'll make it probably as an auto 8 seed. You've got UAB as a 4 seed, Southern Miss. Southern Miss had such a good year, guys, but they had a bunch of close wins. I would really advise against picking them if you are doing an NIT bracket. Southern Miss, they racked up wins, but they were all very close. Liberty, yes, I love Liberty. Liberty's a top 40 team. I might actually, if I fill out an NIT bracket, I might have to have Liberty winning it all because they're that good. And then you've got them facing Howard and then Oregon and Eastern Washington. It's real sad what happened to Eastern Washington out of the Big Sky. They were the #1 overall seed and they lost in the quarterfinals. And then Oregon, they're a team that is probably outside of the NCAA, although we will look at the team sheet rankings. North Carolina region, they've got North Carolina as the #1 seed, so seems like North Carolina not going to compete in the NIT. A little bit of poor sports there, but I can't blame them. I mean, they were the AP preseason #1, and now they're outside of the NCAA tournament. I don't think that's ever happened. So I would say that they're probably not going to be participating in the NIT. Morehead State, I think they were the 1 seed in their conference and they got knocked out. So yes, they're probably going to be in the NIT. Florida's like a 500 team, but they're a 4 seed here. And then you've got Colorado, who played a competitive game yesterday with UCLA in as well. Clemson down to a 3 seed. I'm guessing after Clemson's win over NC State, they're probably going to move up to like the 2 line on the NIT seeding, or even maybe they'll be in the tournament, depending. And then Utah Valley, I would agree with that. A lot of people think Utah Valley is going to win their conference, but if you actually look at the analytics, Sam Houston or Sam Houston State, whichever it is, they are the better team. North Texas and Alcorn State. So Alcorn State got upset. They're very likely going to be a lower seed in the NIT now. And then North Texas, they're a really interesting team that could actually win their conference tournament. But if they don't, they are destined for the NIT. They've got a great net rating, but they just don't have the quality quad 1 wins to get into an at-large bid. Wisconsin region, you've got Wisconsin as the 1 seed. So, yeah, Wisconsin is on the outside looking in. I don't see them getting in to the NCAA tournament. I think a lot of people are probably happy with that. People at this point are very angry at all the, like, mediocre Big Ten teams making it and a team like Utah State being on the outside, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And then Bradley, so yeah, a really sad story with Bradley University. They beat Drake, actually crushed Drake in the last game of the regular season, but then they just got lit up in the conference tournament, and they will most certainly be into the NIT. Texas Tech, they had a very tough year in the Big 12. They got beaten and battered, but they're still a solid team. If they were in the ACC, I think that's probably like a 22-win team taking on Washington State. So Washington State, really unlucky year, a lot of close games. They lost yesterday. They're out of the Pac-12 tournament, but they're a good team, and I could certainly see them in the NIT. Arizona State, they've kind of been seen as a bubble team, but they are here. And then kind of interesting, UC Irvine, who is right now the current favorite, I would say, to win the Big West, I believe. The Big West tournament, they're the 1 seed, but looks like this person has them losing to maybe UCSB, who I think is the 2 seed in that conference, and then New Mexico. So, yeah, New Mexico is your typical NIT team. They've racked up a bunch of wins, but a lot of them are not quality. They're very likely on the outside looking in. Santa Clara, that's a really weak 7 seed. And then the Pittsburgh region, you've got Pitt. Pittsburgh is crazy. I mean, they went from a top 25 team in the AP poll to possibly missing the tournament. Youngstown State, they were the 1 seed in the Horizon League, and they lost to Northern Kentucky, who ended up winning the Horizon League. Vanderbilt as a 4 seed, that seems kind of low for Vandy, considering right now they're technically on the bubble, but they need a big run in the SEC. I think they're probably a 3 or a 2 seed in the NIT. Cincinnati is a solid team. VCU, they have losing their tournament. I know VCU is the 1 seed. Villanova, they had a nice little run there at the end, but yeah, they're out of it, and they will not be in the tournament for sure. And then Michigan sitting on the 2 line. I think Toledo is probably going to be an at-large, or not an at-large. I think they're going to get the auto bid from the MAC, and instead of Toledo, this is going to be Kent State facing possibly Michigan. Michigan is completely out of it after losing to Rutgers. They're 17-15 now there. So that is that one. This is just another seed line. I probably like looking at this one. I like the seed lines a little bit better. Number 1, Penn State is in the tournament. So Penn State will not be in the NIT. But like, yes, I think Liberty should probably be a 1 seed. Just looking at their metrics in the NIT. North Carolina, I don't think they're participating. So Oregon, possibly a 1 seed. New Mexico, possibly a 1 seed. Providence, probably bump to a 1 seed if they make or if they're in the NIT and North Carolina doesn't participate. You've got Michigan as a 2 seed. Once again, Penn State in the tournament, I would say. Pittsburgh possibly as a 2 seed. UAB, Florida, I would say is lower. You're 16-15. You're probably going to be a 4 or 5 seed. Clemson is probably a 3 or a 2. Texas Tech at 16-16 is probably a 3. I remember reading there was a rule about the NIT. You have to be 500 or better to get into the tournament. I don't know if that's still a thing. I don't think that is anymore, but that was a rule. Arizona State listed on the 4 line, Washington State, Colorado, so a bunch of Pac-12 crap. And then you have UCF, Villanova, Bradley, Utah. Yeah, Utah's not that bad, but I mean, that is not a good record for being in the Pac-12. You're 3 games above 500 in that conference. Dayton, Cincinnati, Virginia Tech, Seton Hall. Seton Hall lost to DePaul. I don't know. That's a bad look. Toledo, Utah. They've got Wisconsin on the 7 line because of their NIT or because of their net rating. You know what? I keep getting net and NIT confused. I think I've been calling one and then the other. But you've got Vanderbilt, whatever, man. I'm not pronouncing that. Southern Miss, Youngstown State, Eastern Washington, Morehead State. That's like the auto bids. Those were 1 seeds in their conference tournament that didn't make it. And then how about the CBI? How about this? I read somewhere you have to pay $50,000 to get into the CBI, but I don't know if that's legit. UNC Greensboro. Remember them? Actually, I don't even think, have they even made the tournament? Middle Tennessee, Grand Canyon, Stephen F. Austin. Remember Stephen F. Austin in the tournament as a 14 seed when they upset someone? Troy, Ohio, Cal Baptist, Longwood. I'll tell you what, Google Longwood new arena. And it's an Longwood is building a new arena that's impressive. Cleveland State. I actually picked Cleveland State to win the Horizon. And they honestly were 2 points away. I think they were the runner-up. Brown University from the Ivy League. Bryant, Rice, East Carolina, Milwaukee, Howard, and Purdue Fort Wayne. So that is the CBI look right there. I think anyone can get into the CBI. Of course, we'll see if Detroit Mercy gets into the CBI to help that kid break the scoring record, but a lot of people don't want him to break it because it's taken him 5 years. He's used the pandemic year. And then, guys, when it comes to the bubble, and the NIT and the relationship, Utah State, they got to be a 10 seed. I mean, they're 18 in terms of net. Come on. You know, is that Ken Palm their 14th? Boise State, they're a solid 10 or an 11 seed. Illinois, they're going to be playing in an 8-9 game, I'm guessing. Illinois is a miserable team to try and predict. They really are. North Texas, you got to feel bad for North Texas. They're 36th. Rutgers, they might be playing in a first 4 matchup. Nevada, they might be out of the tournament. Iowa, yeah, I mean, Iowa, I would say Iowa is not on the bubble, but that loss to Ohio State, I mean, that's going to turn some heads there. Ohio State is under 500. Oklahoma State, they're probably out of it. They're probably going to the NIT. Oregon is probably going to the NIT unless they make a run. NC State had that miserable loss to Clemson, but they're still on the 10 line, at least according to this. Mississippi State, if they can beat Alabama, that's going to be huge. If they lose to Bama, they're on the bubble. It's going to be close. North Carolina's out. USC is in, probably as a 10 seed. Honestly, if I'm USC, I would rather be a 10 seed than a 9 seed because I'd rather face a 2 in the second round than a 1. You know, either way, what are you facing? If you're a 10 seed, you're facing a 7 and then a 2 versus a 9 seed facing an 8 and a 1. I'd rather face the 2 if I get past the 7. Penn State, they're in. There probably should be a 10 seed, but I'm surprised their net rating is as bad as it is. They've got a really good guard. I think a Penn State's going to be a very popular pick as long as they're not in the first 4 because they've got an elite guard. And like it's really sexy in terms of the tournaments to take a team that has a crazy elite guard. Providence, they're in, I would say, even though they've been playing bad. I'm probably going to have Providence losing in the first round. Michigan, NIT. Arizona State, probably NIT unless they beat Arizona today. Pittsburgh, they might get in as one of the last 4 teams. Wisconsin, NIT. And then Vanderbilt, NIT. The net rating is just too bad. They will not put teams like that in the tournament. I mean, Ken Palm has Vandy at 39. Oh, no, this is Ken Palm. Never mind. They've got Vandy. So, I was reading the wrong thing. Yeah, but Ken Palm still has Utah State at 21. BPI. This is ESPN's metric. BPI has North Texas at 73. They really hate mid-majors. And Nevada at 71. BPI has Vandy at 80. There's no way Vandy can make it. Quad 1. So this is the argument against Utah State. They have 0 quad 1 wins. North Texas, 0 quad 1 wins. Look at Oklahoma State, 1-11 in quad 1 games. That's a tough schedule, man. North Carolina, 0-5. Mississippi State, 2-5. I mean, none of these teams have good records. Providence is 3-6. At least Providence has 3 quad 1 wins. That's going to help them significantly. Michigan is 1-7. Pittsburgh is 0-3 in quad 1 games. Wisconsin is 2-5. I don't know, guys. We'll see what happens, but when it comes to the NIT bracketology, I think, this is probably pretty realistic. I would say the 1 seeds might be a little bit inaccurate, but, North Carolina is probably not going to compete because they came out that they're not interested in going to the NIT, so it'll probably be a different 1 seed, and Providence might make the tournament. We will see. Providence did lose yesterday. They got crushed by UConn, and then they tried to come back to make it close. But that is just kind of the update on the NIT. This one, I really think Liberty deserves to be a 1 seed in the NIT. I don't know if they will be, but, I mean, their rating overall in terms of analytics is really good. So, guys, that is going to do it for this little NIT bracketology update here with a few days left before Selection Sunday, and then the NIT bracket comes out later. But guys, make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.